In this video, we're going to take a look at what skills you need to become a management consultant. Quite a lot, to be honest. You need a bit of a combo of like leadership and people skills. You're going to be doing a lot of facilitating and a lot of that sort of encouraging people to talk, managing change, you know, the human aspects of that. So that's a really interesting area. And also you need really great sort of business skills, analysis, you know, kind of processes, systems, all sorts of stuff. And you're going to need lots of background knowledge too of the wider context, internal and external stuff for organisations. So there you go, that's the skills you need. But what about if we actually look at it in a slightly more structured way? Might help. So for the purposes of this video, I thought we'd take a look at the Chartered Management Consultant Competency Framework. So I've alluded to this chartership thing in quite a few of the videos in this little series. But regardless of whether you're doing chartership or not, actually, it's a really useful document, and it gives you gives us lots of structure. So let's take a look. This is the document then. This is produced in partnership between the Management Consultancies Association and the Chartered Management Institute. At Crescente, we offer, I go on about it all the time, so we offer the Chartered Management Institute qualifications, and the particular one that's relevant here is the Level 7 in professional consulting. You can do a certificate or a diploma or whatever. So let us know if you're interested in that. But let's have a look at the skills. So this document, I can stick a link down and you can download it and have it for yourself and use it. So just to be clear, like even if you're not looking for chartership, if you're interested in becoming a management consultant, then you could maybe use this as a self-assessment, for example. And at some point, when we find the time, we'll turn it into a self-assessment probably, because it's quite useful. But you can do that for yourself. So you run through each of the sections in this document that we'll look at together in a second. And then you could, I don't know, like score yourself, just kind of work out what you think, maybe ask other people as well. And then you can work out your development areas, you know, any gaps in your knowledge or your skills. So yeah, let's take a look. Okay. So this is the contents and introduction. It tells you a little bit about it. It talks about the 3 stages, so foundation, applied, and then moving towards chartered level, or principal consultant, that might be equivalent of. I've done a separate video on those, so you could take a look at that. In terms of perhaps what's going on, the years that you might spend at each and so on. So I'll leave that in that video. And what we've got here then might be useful to look at this sort of roundel in terms of the structure, the framework, if you like. So you've got values and ethics and behaviours at the centre. That's a move from that was put at the centre of things since the financial crash quite often. I was lucky enough to attend a business ethics conference way back just after that, 2010, I think it was, where, you know, the model had moved towards ethics and values being at the centre of the work that we do within organisations, where the organisation value set takes over, you know, the argument being that maybe like bad stuff can happen. So that's an explainer as to why values and ethics should be at the core of our development. Leadership and management skills centered around that. Then the broader area that will be sort of category or industry specific or whatever is your client's current or prospective client operating environment. So specialisms, specialisms, clients and markets, strategy analysis and insight, operational delivery, and stakeholder and relationship development. So lots of detail there. And then number 4 being your personal and professional development. So what you'll find, and I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with a competency framework or two by now, you've got layers of kind of detail here. So the components of the competency framework are explained, at that sort of relatively high level in these lists. And these are going to be lists of words and ideas and the ethics and the behaviors related to these numbers here, which is quite useful, but it will be fairly highly nominalized, so you'll need to put some of the meaning back in for you and for your clients. So that's those, the 1, 2, 3. This is yet another way that the competency framework progression stages have been articulated visually here. Like I mentioned before, I've done a separate video on that already. And then you'll find as you go through this document then that you go again, but with more detail and at the different levels. So when I kind of hinted at using it as a self-assessment earlier, then if you're in year 1 or 2 of being a consultant, then that's typically foundation. Applied is year 3, 4, 5. It may be more years than that, but it's probably not going to be any less than that. And then chartered or principal or senior consultant or whatever equivalent language you want to put on it, depending on the business or the environment you work in, is probably going to be 7 years plus of consulting, practical consulting experience. So with those 1 to 2 years, 3 to 5 years, 5 years plus in mind, then you could use this document to read these descriptors and then to work out in each of the areas where you need to develop. So I don't want to go too much into the detail now. It might be worth just picking out a couple of examples just to sort of highlight how this would work. But you can, if you need a hand with it, go and get in touch, download it, have a go. But if you want a little bit of support, we do a lot of career development, not just qualifications. So if you're looking to go through a process like this, then I guess there's 2 bits that you might want help with that I can think of off the top of my head, which is a lot of the coaching that we do and mentoring support. Number 1 is the decision. Do I actually want to become a consultant? So if you're deciding or gathering information or to make that decision, we can support you with that. And if you've already decided and you are somewhere in this progression route, if you like, career progression, then equally let us know. If you're not getting where you want to go, or if you've got a particular kind of angle or goal in mind, then look us up and we can help you out with a bit of coaching. So this is the ethics section. And then we move into section 2, leadership and management. So if we take something like leadership and management, you'll find that leading self, so it's a fairly predictable structure, leading self, leading others, and then leading, staff. That actually crosses over exactly with the CMI competency framework. So this is the CMI and MCA for consulting, management consulting, but there is also one for management and leadership in general. So leading self, leading others is quite substantial there. And then leading and managing through change, they've called it here. But I think the interesting area for consulting, it's all interesting, but the differentiator that might be useful is section 3. So the consulting operating environment. We looked at that earlier. I think it's broken down into 4, A, B, C, D. And it's just kind of more into the detail, which I think is quite good. So if we take, let's have a little look. Clients and markets. I'm going to take client relationship management. Why not? Just jump in the middle somewhere. Foundation level is, I don't know, you know what a client is. You can stay in touch with people. You can support your colleagues and stuff. Maybe you understand stakeholder management. When you're applying it, this is a different level of intention, I would have thought, a different level of understanding. So I would expect that you're able to produce a very detailed stakeholder analysis diagram, leaning on your project management or change management skills. understand the need, the sort of cognitive empathy piece, understand the relationships and how they need to work from their perspective, not just from yours, do ask. And then be able to put together communication, strategic communication, and then stick with that. That would be applied or kind of senior or principal level for me. Leading that would be the charge bit, I suppose. So what does it say here? That's my interpretation of it. What does it say here? So foundation, a couple of years, you've got a bit of a clue that it's a thing and it's important. Applied during client-facing projects, you form new and constructive working relationships with client contact stakeholders. Fine. So you're able to build those relationships in the medium and long term. That will be essential to you getting consulting work over the line. Able to spot opportunities to on-sell work. That's interesting. And refer opportunities to others for consideration. So that's about keeping your own business going, I suppose. Where appropriate, support the team to develop new opportunity. Yeah, and then considered as a trusted advisor. So it's kind of interesting one. Anyway, download this, have a little look, work through the items, get some help and support with it. So there you go. Well, that's my take very briefly. How far do we go with this? Yeah, that's the back of the document. So thank you very much for watching. Those are the skills that are required with some structure for you to use. So hope you found that useful. As always, do follow along on YouTube and on other socials as well. You can follow the company, you can follow me personally on LinkedIn and on YouTube, and do get involved in the comments as well. What's your top skills, do you think, as a consultant, and share any kind of highs and lows as well. It's always interesting. I'd love to know your experiences and for you to get in touch. So thanks very much for watching.